Hey, what's going on? Lewis Howard Live Land. Thank you for sitting in on the conversation. Uh, Taking a little time to chill out, and as you can see in the background. But I wanted to have been thinking about and experiencing something that we all are familiar with called pain. Now, there's not a lot of motivational speakers who talk about pain. There's not a lot of inspiration. There's not a lot of books written about it, but we all deal with pain. Sometimes it's physical pain, right? Physical body. Sometimes it's mental pain. Something's wrong with your mind, your brain. Uh, it could be emotional pain. You had a hurt. Somebody stabbed you with a knife and twisted the knife. The pain of divorce, the pain of business failure, all kinds of pains that the pain of what if, the pain of fear. So we all have it, but we all deal with it in very different ways. And I know that I am, as mature as I am in life, I am finally learning how to deal with pain. And I'm going to talk about that today, just give you kind of a couple of principal insights on how you might want to look at dealing with pain. And the reason why, because if you don't deal with the pain, two things could happen. One, you get stuck in the situation and you keep talking about the situation long after it's done. You hear people still talking about their divorce and you think it just happened 6 months ago or a year ago. No, it was 5, 10, 15 years ago. Or you hear people talk about someone who screwed over them, maybe it was a friend or a relative, and they're still talking about it and they are stuck. So the key with pain, and I learned, is don't get stuck. I started early on dealing with the pain of discrimination because as a boy of color, I went into a lot of schools where it was predominantly people of other color, primarily white, Anglo-Saxon, European students. I didn't come from where they came from. They didn't come from where I came from. And so I took a lot of criticism, a lot of the butt of jokes, a lot of isolation. I remember one particular time where I really liked this one girl, and she happened to be white, and I wanted to go over to their house to enjoy their pool. And I was told by her as we were walking, "You can't come to my house." And I didn't understand that as a teenager. Why couldn't I come to the house? What made me different that I could not go to that person's house? Well, it had to do with my color. Nothing else. Had nothing to do with my character. Didn't have anything to do with my grades. Didn't have anything to do with my specific family background. It just had to do with the color of my skin. That was painful. That was painful because I already was new to the school, didn't have a lot of friends, and here the one people who I thought were friends just isolated me. Now I'm dealing with the pain of isolation as a teenager. No wonder a lot of teenagers want to commit suicide because they feel isolated. Even if they got everything that the culture offers them, they got the sneakers, they got the VR, they got the stuff that you would think would make them happy. But if they feel isolated, no matter how many friends they have on Facebook or whatever, they're dealing with the pain of the isolation. So it's not just you dealing with the pain of isolation. There are people around us that are dealing with far worse pain than you are. Okay. The COVID-19 pandemic has caused a lot of pain in people's life. It's called financial pain. It's called relationship pain. People have lost friends. They've lost family. I have lost family. I have lost friends. The pain of this thing. But life goes on. Time does not stop. Opportunity does not stop because we have pain. So I got to figure out, how do I turn my pain to gain so that I'm not stuck, so that I'm not rinse and repeat talking about the same thing. Or number two is I'm running, right? That's what happens. Pain will cause you to run. If you have had a failure in business, you run. you run to a new business, or you run to a new city, or you run to a new state. If you commit a crime, you run, right? And you're running. I know people that, they're running from the law today as we're making this show. They're still on the run. They got warrants out for them. They're on the run because of something they did in some other places. So sometimes you're on the run and people never stop running. Sometimes people get tired of running and they just give up. But you don't want to run, because running will head you in a direction maybe is not consistent with your ultimate design, your ultimate destiny and mission. I heard this, and it's a great saying, came from one of my mentors, Tim Story. He said, when you make choices, you can make okay choices given a situation that you're in, but it also leads to an okay life. If you're making okay choices, you got a okay life. If you're making mountaintop choices, you got a mountaintop life. So what choices are you making today? Where are you stuck today? What are you running from today? That's not having anything to do with today. It was yesterday. Let me tell you this. If you had a divorce, the divorce is dead. It's not chasing you anymore. You might be still paying with the consequences of it, but it's done. If you file bankruptcy and it's been discharged, it's dead. It's done. It's time for you to get up. If the person is still not stabbing you in the back and twisting the knife, it's dead. Stop reliving that pain. It won't help you, and it won't help the people you're called to, your village, the people you're inspired to help. All these posts that you're putting on Instagram and social media, and you are being this example, but at the same time, you're in pain. I have posted stuff right in the middle of my pain. 2020 at the pain of losing a child. And I'm posting stuff and people thinking I'm doing good, but I'm in pain. I'm in pain, right? I'm just isolated in quarantine and I need something to do. So, number one, when you are in pain, okay, the number one thing to understand is that it's temporary. The thing about temporary is you don't want to ever make permanent decisions in temporary places. Because if you do, once you leave that temporary place, that permanent decisions falls you. What are you talking about? So let's just say you had a bad breakup, a divorce, right? And you go to the bar and you see the first girl who smiles at you and you say, I like you. She goes, I like you too. Let's get married. Okay. Right now you're in an okay situation and you're not where you were, but now you've made a decision. And now all of a sudden the two of you get together and it turns out you're not as compatible as you think. All of a sudden now this relationship that seemed okay has now turned into a problem. Okay. You see a want ad or a classified or a Craigslist and you think, that job, I need that job because it pays X amount of dollars per hour. You go get the job, right? And then all of a sudden, after having the job for 90 days, you don't like the job. You like the check, but I don't like the job. Now I'm in an okay situation because I got money coming in, but I'm not okay because I don't feel passionate, I don't feel motivated, and I don't feel inspired. So when you make permanent decisions in temporary places, they keep you stuck. You think you're free, but you're just stuck in a whole new ditch. So number one is don't make permanent decisions in temporary places. Number two is keep moving. That's probably the hardest thing to talk about when we talk about pain. Keep moving. Don't camp in your pain. I know it hurts. Look, there's no other hurt than losing a child. That is a pain that most people will never experience. It hurts. There's no pain like the pain of a woman, a divorce, a breakup, right? There's no pain like the pain of abuse, right? Abuse. There's no pain of, I thought I had it. I was almost there and someone cut me back. Pain. But you got to take a moment, assess your position, get yourself up, wash your face, change your clothes, forgive that situation, and start walking, even when it doesn't feel good. When I went through the divorce, it did not feel good. I did not feel like moving on. I did not initiate it, and I didn't want it to happen in the end, but I had to get myself up. I had to put myself together. I had a company that I was in charge of, and I had to get myself together because people were counting on me to show up every day and be fresh. Now, sometimes I had to close the door and cry privately, but I dry my tears and I get up and I keep moving. And finally, about a year or so, I got stronger and stronger and stronger. And the pain of that situation became less and less and less. Did I have collateral damage from it? Yes. And did I have reminders of it? Yes. But guess what? I didn't live in daily, the pain of it. So you got to make that decision. Now, I'm probably not talking to anybody listening to me, but some people like pain because pain can make you a victim, right? When you can tell somebody about your abuses, I'm a victim. Now I have people feeling sorry for me. People like to be sick because that's the only time they get attention, right? Especially if you're in a large family and you got 4 or 5 brothers, sisters, sometimes the only time mom pays attention is if you get sick. But as soon as you get well, she's gone back to whatever she was doing. So same thing in a marriage. That sometimes the only way that the spouse gets attention is they get sick or something happens. Now the other spouse becomes very attentive, very caring, very supportive until the person gets better and they move on. Okay. A lot of people like you more when you are down. And I really struggled with this, right? Because it feels good to be patted on the head and tapped on the butt sometimes about your issues, but it also weakens you. So now I can't beat the pain because now I'm weak in the pain. So you got to cross over the pain. And the only way you can cross over is you got to get up, take action, and start moving forward. Even if it's a minute at a time, an hour at a time, even if you fall, if you're trying to break an addiction and you fall back in it, the next minute, get up. The next day, get up, right? Right? Heaven is with you. God is with you. The divine is with you. The universe supports you getting up. So don't stay down. Don't stay in the pain. I know this firsthand. Man, the pain of bad choices, no other. But I want to encourage you to think about, number one, don't make permanent decisions in temporary places. 2, do not allow yourself to be a permanent victim. It's okay to feel a certain way. You're a human being, but don't make it permanent. And don't let people make you permanent. Don't let people keep talking about your yesterday when you're living in your right now. Okay. And thirdly, you have to take steps, baby steps maybe, till you can reach those giant steps and ultimately cross over that pain and continue on your road to your map. I call your map is your mission, your assignment, your purpose, and to others, your dream. Hey, this is Lewis Howard Live, and I just get a kick out of inspiring people. I hope you got one thing out of listening to that. We'll see you again on another episode.